now we have another Josef Falk 456. I think it's /1, and the S. S normally denotes that it's got the water pump as well. Now you've seen the videos of this one, and there were several things missing from this one, and it was running okay. Several things missing, and then this one I found it locally, and it had subtle differences. So I was just going to go through the subtle differences between the two machines, and then I'm going to get this one and fire it up. I've literally just got it out of the packet. I took all the bubble wrap off, and I'm just going to go through what I've noticed. I haven't cleaned it yet either. You can see it's filthy in here, absolutely filthy. But I just wanted to do, this is how I found it sort of video, and why I bought it. Well, one of the reasons I bought it was it had the original weight, it had the glass, and it also had the original burner, which still needs a little bit of attention because that looks like it's got some glue or something around there. But my other one didn't have any of those original parts, so I wanted it was an improvement. And now that I've got it out of pack, I can see several differences, or something else that's missing on my one. So you can see that the cylinder here has got a cover on it and a handle, basically a cover on the end. That's what I meant, a cover on the end. My original one is no cover. The ends are missing, and I didn't realise that until I actually see this one. We've also got the exhaust, which wouldn't have been too difficult to sort out on the other one, but still it was something else that weren't there. I mean, it's still not perfect. I've still got, need to make up some wooden handles, but everything seems to be moving apart from this bottom one, so I'm not too really concerned about. Not sure if that's the original whistle. This one's got a different type of whistle, so one of them's original, one of them's not. Either that or they're both original and these are slightly different machines. Now this one has got sort of the vents, sort of vertical, and what I looked like a mouth to me. This one has got like a smiley face, and two eyes and a mouth, so it's different in that respect. The bases look exactly the same, identical bases. This one hasn't been cleaned yet, so, but even the colours look the same. Even the colours look the same. Now this one has got a rather large bracket, goes all the way through, which I quite like. A cast bracket right from the front all the way to the back. This one, it comes in two parts. So you've got the front bracket, then you've got like a middle section there just to hold the stabiliser bar, and then you've got your rear bracket. So the other one, so it goes completely through, which I quite like that. You've got two little, I think these two little screws hold, I think some of them have got, what do you call it, regulator, little make-believe regulator, governor. So that's probably what that's for. So now I realise that actually quite a bit missing on this. There's a few screws are missing here. It still runs all right, so I'm surprised really that how nice it runs with all this missing. Someone's been playing about with it. There's something, there's sort of like cast bits in there. So now I'm just comparing the two. But anyway, that's what I've noticed as the differences, and I've got a feeling this one of them seems a little bit. This one's a fraction longer. But the boiler itself, they're the same diameter. They're both, well, I think there was 9mm. 9mm diameter. But this one looks to me, It's a fraction longer. This, but yeah, I think it's only this section, not the actual boiler itself. But yeah, lovely machine that one. But I just wanted to see if there's any improvement, if this is any improvement. So I haven't had it running yet. I'm going to put the camera on the stand, and then I'm going to pull this one over and see if I can fire it up and see what it runs like. See if there's any leaks. This has been held on there with a bit of wire, so I'm guessing there's going to be some leaks. It don't look like there's any cracks in the glass. Now I know what the original glass holder looks like, and that was what was missing from that one. Now I did make something up. I made this up as just as a template, and I was going to make that in brass, and then this is too deep. I made that too deep there. It wants to be half that depth, and then it will probably be, well, not far out, actually not far out on the depth of the whole thing, but I think it would look a bit better if it was, it's still got a shield of glass, so you can't go too shallow. But anyway, that's what I made up. I was going to do a brass one, but then I saw this and I thought, right, I'll get it, and one or the other will go. I won't keep both. I can't keep everything. So one of the other ones will have to go. So I'm just going to check them out and see. But this one had a hole here, and I've put a pressure gauge there. And even though it's a brand new pressure gauge, get nothing out of it. And there was just a blanking screw in there. But this one, no holes at all. So I don't know if there was originally a pressure gauge, and this is a slightly different machine, and it had a original pressure gauge or didn't. But I put one on anyway, but it don't work. So even though it's brand new, I actually put two. I've changed it for another one, and that don't work either. And yet I tried them, both of them gauges on an airline with low pressure, and they both work. The line's clear, so it's puzzled me why they won't work. But someone did say that this might be a higher pressure gauge, so it's not kicking in. But I mean, it says £20 there, so it should be kicking in a bit. I don't think this runs on really high pressure. But anyway, I'm going to switch this off for a sec. I'll put it on a tripod, and then we'll see if we can fire this one up and see how we get on. Right, I've lit the boiler. I've got a Bix burner going in there at the moment. I didn't want to go too mad with it, so it's on gentle. I tried to sort of recreate the same amount of heat we would have been getting off of this, which I will start using this, but it needs a good clean up by the looks of it. So I've just set that Bix burner for about the same amount of heat what would be coming off that. Quite like that though, it needs a good clean up, but I'm pleased we've got it. So let's just see how it goes. I only just lit it, but we'll be able to see. It needs a little bit of oil on it. I'll go for oiling things first. Put a little bit of oil everywhere because it looks really dry. Don't think it's been oiled at all for probably sitting in a box for years. And we'll see how it goes. I do like the movement on these. Once the water pump starts going, I like the visual effect. You only get that with ones with water pumps. Needs much more oil. Dry as a bone. Dry as a bone. Anyway, I'm glad I got one with all the everything original. Well, it looks original anyway. Say the sight glass, the weight, the exhaust, the covers for the cylinder. Not to say I don't like the other one, because the videos I've done on the other one have been really popular. They're lovely looking machines, and we just have to let it move then. So there is a bit of pressure building up. I think it's well early for starting it, but I'll be able to get a bit of condensation come through. Oh, a bit premature there. Just yeah, I think there's a bit of oil on the boiler. There's a little bit of smoke coming up, so there's something. Obviously, people oil it, drips down, goes down underneath, so that's burning off. So that shows me it hasn't been lit for a long time. Yeah, I like these. I bought a book. It was called Steam Engine Makers of Lincolnshire, and it's got these sort of things, full size in there, and it goes for all the manufacturers of the, 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. And what they did, this is the sort what would be sat there in a permanent fixture. And then what they did, they had the same sort of thing but with two wheels and the small wheels at the front, and they would tow them around with a horse and cart, so they never was moved very far. I mean, imagine how much these things must have weighed. They never moved them very far, sort of one side of the town or village to the other, or different areas of the factory or farm. But then when they, with the locomobiles or the what we call the traction engines, they just added a chain really and the steering and made them completely mobile, so you could move them from one to the other. So this is a sort of a reproduction, if you like, of the very early ones, what were stationary. It's a stationary engine. It weren't used for any was in a fixed position, probably in a factory. These look so nice. No steam coming up yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed this is going to run. The boiler looks in good condition. Still got that. They black the boilers, don't they? They put them in a chemical. It'll be a brass boiler, and they dip them in a chemical to give them that black. I've actually got that chemical. I bought I think there's a video. I've done a video of it. It was a Josef Falk stationary engine with the boiler next to it, and this small engine. And when I bought it, someone had it. They coated it in some sort of tar. I couldn't get it off. It was, it was a real struggle to get it off. Anyway, when I eventually did get it off, the only way to get it off properly was to really put a wire wheel on the boiler. Well, that made it look too modern. So I found this fluid, and you dilute it and you put it in a bucket, and I've got the boiler, and you dip it in, and you can see the boiler changing from brass to this black. And I left it just long enough. You pull it out, you rinse it. I'll do a video on one. Next time I get a cheap one that I'm not really worried about whether it's an old one that needs to be sort of saved, I'll do a video on blackening these boilers, because that Falk in the end looked like it just come out of the factory. Even though I had to polish the boiler at the beginning, it really looked lovely. And I was pleased with how that turned out. So I will do a video of that another time. No steam. No steam. Yeah, there's about 400 effects. It might be a little bit low on water, so it's probably still got obviously got a boil, but there's a lot of heat there. No, not much going on at the moment. It's not boiling, I don't think. I'll give it a sec and let it build up when I come back. Right, not quite there yet, but I've started getting some action from the exhaust. So we're getting up there. Getting to become self-sufficient now. There we go. There we go. Oh, yes. Look at that. Look at that. What a beauty. Boys. What a beauty. Got some water underneath the cylinder there. I think it's just dripping out. Well, it's going. Now it should as well. Going up. Oh, we'll go. Don't like I'm going fast though. Slow it down. Slow it down. Oh, too much. Look at that. That's a nice runner. That's a nice runner. Where's the leaks? A little bit of some, you've got a little steam leak around the bottom of the whistle. A little bit of drips coming out of the cylinder, but that's going to be expected. Not entirely sure, but yeah, I'm pleased with that. Pleased with that. Look, no leaks here. A little bit under there, a little bit under the cylinder bracket, but exhaust seems to be working nicely. Puffing steam. It's not rattly. Wasn't difficult to start. So I think we're in business. I wonder if it goes backwards. I think they do actually. No. No. Might want a bit of oil though. I'm sure they go both ways. No, perhaps not. Go on, girl. Go on, girl. That's me playing with the regulator valve. Yeah, what about that? Nice. That wants a nice clean now. To be honest, my other one runs just the same, but I wanted one. I knew it was going to cost a mini fortune finding all these bits separate: cover, end caps, sight glass, and some of them parts I didn't even know was missing. The cover. I mean, I would have suffered that. I weren't really bothered about that. Whistle's completely different. So one or the other is original, one or the other isn't, or like I said before, because they're different, slightly different. This one hasn't got the bracket. I prefer the bracket on the other one. This one has got a smaller, it's a two-piece bracket, where the other one's got an all-in-one. That looks nice. I've convinced myself now to keep them both, haven't I? But yeah, no, I'm pleased with that. I'll have to hook it up to a water pump. I would guess that's probably scaled up. They normally scale up It's not an old rattler. Another beautiful one. Josef Falk. Now I've seen a Schurner steam engine, and it looks identical. And it looks like to me, I'm going to turn it off now. It looks like to me that the Schurners sold out to Falk, but they was also, while they were still in business, they was manufacturing the engines for Falk. So that's why some of them are literally identical, and I read somewhere that some of them, they literally are identical and you can't tell them apart. I think that there is to get rid of your condensation, and that's what it's for when you're starting it up. Yeah, so the Schurners and the Falks, the early ones, are identical. But yeah, so I'll give it a clean, and I'll do another video when it's clean. The base is filthy, cylinder's filthy, but I just wanted to see if it was actually running. I don't like doing cosmetics, and when something's not running, I like to get them running first. But anyway, I'm happy with that, and that's me turning the gas off. Next time I run it, I'm going to use the original mushrooms. But yeah, what another lovely machine. Hope you like that, guys. I'll leave it at that, but that's the first time I've ran it, and I'm pleased it worked out. Cheers.